Life isn't always smooth sailing. Sometimes it feels like nothing is going right. Maybe you're going through a difficult time at work or facing personal struggles that seem impossible to overcome. Whatever the situation, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. But here's the good news. There's always a way out. Allah is always there for us, and He has promised us relief. So, if you're wondering how to find peace and open the doors of Allah's mercy when everything seems to be going wrong, stay with me. We're going to explore some powerful Islamic teachings, practical steps, and inspirational Quranic verses that will remind you of the strength and hope we can find through faith. Before we dive deep into this topic, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Explorers. Your support helps us spread positivity and knowledge. 1. Turning to Allah in times of difficulty. When life feels like it's falling apart, the first thing we should do is turn to Allah. Often, we try to solve everything ourselves, forgetting that the Creator of the heavens and earth is always there for us. We might attempt to handle our struggles through our own means, believing that we can fix everything on our own. However, this approach can lead to frustration, exhaustion, and in many cases, more confusion. We need to remember that Allah is always with us, especially in times of hardship. Turning to Allah is not just a last resort, it should be the very first step in facing any difficulty. Why? Because when we call upon Allah, we acknowledge our need for His help, guidance, and mercy. It's an act of humility, an admission that we cannot do it all by ourselves and that we trust in His wisdom. When my servants ask you about me, then tell them that I am near. I respond to the call of one when he prays to me, so they should respond to me and have faith in me so that they may be on the right path. Allah is always near to us, no matter how distant or hopeless we may feel. The beauty of this verse is that Allah makes it clear that He is always ready to respond when we call upon Him. It's easy to feel isolated during difficult times, but the truth is that Allah is closer to us than anyone else. He listens to every prayer and knows the innermost desires of our hearts, even before we speak them. In our moments of weakness, we often feel like no one can truly understand what we're going through. But Allah does. He understands your struggles better than you do yourself. He knows your heartache, your fears, and your hopes. And most importantly, He is the one who has the power to change your situation. When we experience hardship, it's crucial to remember that Allah's mercy and support are always accessible through prayer and supplication. No matter how small or large your problem may seem, taking the time to speak to Allah can bring peace to your heart. It's through dua, supplication, that we strengthen our connection with Allah. In times of distress, don't hesitate to make dua, whether it's in the middle of your day, during your prayers, or in the quiet moments before you go to sleep. There is no wrong way to pray, and there is no limit to how much we can ask of Allah. Whether you're asking for guidance, strength, relief, or wisdom, Allah will always listen. It's important to realize that the more we turn to Allah, the more we build a relationship with Him. The more we trust Him, the more we understand that He is the ultimate source of comfort and support. Just as we rely on friends and family for advice and help, we must learn to rely on Allah in times of hardship, knowing that His wisdom and understanding far exceed our own. Many people experience a deeper sense of peace after they've prayed because they recognize that Allah has heard them. That feeling of relief and comfort is one of the many blessings of turning to Allah in times of difficulty. It's a reminder that we are not alone and that Allah is always ready to support us. When you are going through tough times, make sure to take your worries to Allah. It can be tempting to bottle up your feelings or try to carry the burden alone, but Allah is always there to lighten your load. Even in the hardest moments, you can find solace in knowing that Allah is guiding you through the storm. Your dua is never in vain. Every prayer you make is an opportunity for Allah's mercy to reach you. Lastly, remember that Allah responds to every dua in the best possible way. It might not be in the form you expect or desire, but it will always be what is best for you. Allah's plan for you is always better than your own. Trust that His response will be full of wisdom, and know that He will open the doors to ease and relief at the right time. 2. Patience is key. Patience is one of the most important qualities a believer can have. When things feel like they are spiraling out of control, it's easy to feel angry, frustrated, or hopeless. But patience is the key to finding peace and relief during times of difficulty. It's a concept that the Quran emphasizes repeatedly, and for good reason. It's the quality that helps us navigate through life's challenges without losing our faith or composure. Patience isn't just about waiting for things to get better. It's about maintaining a positive, steadfast attitude even in the face of hardship. It's about holding on to your faith and trusting that Allah's plan is better than anything we could imagine. Patience is a strength that brings us closer to Allah and opens the doors to His mercy. O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with those who are patient. It's not enough to just wait for the storm to pass. We must actively seek help from Allah through prayer and maintain patience while we wait. Allah is telling us that He is with the patient. His support is always with those who endure hardships with patience and trust in Him. Patience is not something that comes naturally for many of us. When we are faced with difficulties, our immediate reaction might be to panic, complain, or give up. But patience is a choice. It is a conscious decision to remain calm, to rely on Allah, and to endure with faith. This does not mean that we suppress our emotions or pretend that everything is okay when it's not. Patience is about controlling how we respond to the situation. It's about remembering that Allah is in control and that He will guide us through the challenges we face. When things seem impossible, it can be easy to lose hope, but patience teaches us to remain optimistic. Trusting in Allah's plan is an essential part of patience. Allah has a wisdom that we cannot always understand, and sometimes the hardships we face are meant to teach us valuable lessons or to purify our hearts. In these moments, we should ask Allah for the strength to bear our difficulties and to help us grow through the experience. Furthermore, patience brings rewards beyond what we can imagine. The Quran assures us that Allah rewards those who are patient with incredible blessings. The relief, peace, and blessings that come from enduring hardship with patience cannot be measured. Sometimes we may feel like the weight of our struggles is too much to bear, but Allah promises that if we remain patient, He will reward us abundantly. Another important aspect of patience is acceptance of Allah's will. Sometimes the outcome of a situation is not what we hoped for or expected. However, patience teaches us to accept Allah's decision because we trust that He knows what is best for us. This does not mean that we shouldn't strive to improve our situation or seek solutions, but it means that we should be content with Allah's decree, whatever that may be. This acceptance brings inner peace, as we recognize that Allah is always looking out for us, even when things don't go as planned. Patience is not just about enduring difficulties. It's about remaining hopeful and faithful in Allah's mercy. When life is hard, we might feel isolated or abandoned, but it is precisely during these moments that Allah is the closest to us. The more we practice patience, the more we develop resilience and strength in our faith. Patience strengthens our relationship with Allah as we turn to Him for support and guidance. 3. Gratitude in the midst of struggles. It may sound counterintuitive, but being grateful during times of difficulty is one of the most powerful ways to change your situation. When everything is going wrong, instead of focusing solely on what you don't have or what's not working, take a moment to look at what you do have and what is still going right. Gratitude doesn't just shift your mindset, it opens the doors for more blessings to enter your life. Allah tells us in the Quran that gratitude is the key to receiving more of His mercy and blessings. Recall the time when your Lord declared, "If you express gratitude, I shall certainly give you more, and if you are ungrateful, then my punishment is severe." When we take the time to thank Allah for what we have, even in difficult times, we are demonstrating our trust in His wisdom and power. Allah rewards gratitude by increasing the goodness in our lives. Even in hardship, there are countless blessings that we often overlook, and by practicing gratitude, we open our hearts to receive more. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you to Allah. It's about actively recognizing His blessings and being appreciative of them. We tend to focus on the negative aspects of our situation, the things that are going wrong. But if we shift our perspective, we may realize that Allah has already given us so much. Even in the worst of times, we still have reasons to be thankful. Maybe we have our health, our family, or simply the ability to breathe another day. These small but significant blessings are gifts from Allah that we often take for granted. The act of being grateful transforms our mindset. It helps us move from a state of dissatisfaction to one of contentment. When we are grateful, we become more aware of the small mercies in our lives that often go unnoticed. This change in attitude doesn't make our problems disappear, but it allows us to approach them with a sense of hope and faith. Gratitude helps us see that there is always something good, even in the most challenging circumstances. Gratitude is a form of worship that can take many forms. You can express gratitude through your actions, your prayers, and the way you carry yourself. Gratitude can also be seen in how we interact with others. When we are grateful for the blessings in our lives, we become more generous and compassionate toward others. Gratitude moves us to help those in need, to support our families, and to contribute to our communities. It fosters a spirit of kindness and generosity, which in turn brings more blessings into our lives. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to reduce stress and anxiety. When we focus on what we have, rather than what we don't have, we experience a sense of peace. Gratitude shifts our energy from one of scarcity and lack to one of abundance. This shift can have a profound impact on our mental and emotional health. When we express gratitude, we align our hearts with positivity and peace, making it easier to handle whatever challenges come our way. 4. Trusting Allah's plan. When faced with adversity, it's common to feel lost or confused. We may ask ourselves, "Why is this happening to me?" Or, "Why is everything going wrong?" It's during these times that trusting in Allah's plan becomes crucial. As humans, we often struggle with understanding the bigger picture. We want everything to make sense right now, but Allah's wisdom far exceeds our limited understanding. The truth is, what we perceive as a problem might actually be part of Allah's greater plan for us. Trusting Allah is about surrendering our worries and knowing that He knows what's best for us, even when it doesn't align with our immediate desires or expectations. We may not understand why things are happening the way they are, but Allah knows what is best for us. What seems like a hardship today may actually be a blessing in disguise. It may be preparing us for something better, or it may be helping us grow in ways we couldn't have imagined. Trusting Allah means accepting that His plan is always better than ours, even if it doesn't make sense at the moment. We often want immediate relief or answers to our problems. When we're in pain or facing uncertainty, our natural inclination is to seek out quick fixes. However, Allah's plan unfolds in its own time, and sometimes the answers we seek are delayed for reasons that we cannot comprehend. Trusting in Allah requires patience. Patience to wait for the right time, for the right outcome. We may never understand the reasons behind every trial, but we must have faith that Allah's wisdom will guide us toward what is best for us in the long run. It's also important to remember that trusting Allah's plan doesn't mean we simply sit back and wait for things to improve. Trusting Allah means taking action while having faith that Allah will guide our efforts. The key is to remain steadfast, trust in His wisdom, and continue to make efforts. It's a reminder that every test has an expiration date, and Allah will eventually provide relief. Even in the hardest times, we must keep moving forward, knowing that Allah's mercy will not leave us. Trusting Allah's plan also involves complete submission to His will. When we submit ourselves to Allah's will, we acknowledge that He is the ultimate controller of all things. We stop worrying about what could go wrong and start focusing on what we can control: our faith, our actions, and our attitude. Submission to Allah brings peace because it frees us from the burden of trying to control things that are beyond our power. We must also trust that every hardship we face has a purpose. Allah does not test us without reason. Our tests are not meant to break us, but to shape us into better, stronger people. Allah's mercy is constant, and His plan for us is one of compassion and love. The more we trust Allah, the more we experience His mercy in our lives, and the more we are able to endure hardship with grace and patience. Trusting Allah's plan is also about knowing that Allah never burdens us with more than we can handle. When we feel overwhelmed by the challenges in front of us, we can find solace in the fact that Allah has equipped us with the strength to endure. Even when it feels like we can't take any more, Allah knows our limits and will never give us a test that is beyond our capacity to bear. Ultimately, trusting in Allah's plan is about having faith that everything happens for a reason. We might not see the full picture now, but we must believe that Allah is leading us toward what is best for us. Whether our current difficulties lead to personal growth, increased faith, or the eventual opening of new doors, we must trust that Allah's plan is always filled with wisdom, mercy, and love. So, when everything seems to be going wrong, remember that Allah's plan is unfolding in the best way possible, even if it's not what we expect. 5. Make dua and seek Allah's help. When life seems to be falling apart and every door feels shut, making dua, supplication, and seeking Allah's help is one of the most powerful ways to bring relief to your heart. The act of calling out to Allah is not just a way of asking for help, it's an expression of trust in His power and mercy. When we make dua, we are acknowledging that we are weak, and we are placing our trust in the One who has control over everything in the universe. Allah is attentive to every word, every tear, and every silent plea. The beauty of dua lies in the fact that no matter the magnitude of our problem, Allah's mercy is even greater. No situation is too big for Him to handle. When we make dua, we must remember that Allah answers in three ways. Either He grants our request immediately, delays it for a better time, or gives us something better than what we asked for. Allah knows what is best for us, and sometimes we may not fully understand why our request is not answered right away. However, this delay or change in outcome does not mean that Allah has abandoned us. Instead, it could be that Allah is preparing us for something greater. Your Lord has said, "Call me, I will respond to you. Definitely those who show arrogance against worshipping me shall enter Jahannam, hell, with disgrace." The response, however, may not always look the way we expect it to. It's important to remember that dua is not about trying to manipulate Allah into answering in a specific way. It's about submitting our hearts and asking for His guidance and mercy. When we make dua, we are putting our trust in His wisdom, knowing that He will respond in the best way for us. The key to making effective dua is to be sincere and to make it with a humble heart. Sometimes we think of dua as a list of requests that we need to get through quickly. However, it's much more than that. Dua is an opportunity to connect deeply with Allah, to pour out our hearts, and to acknowledge that we are completely dependent on Him. When we pray to Allah, we should not rush through it, but instead, we should take the time to be sincere, focused, and patient in our supplications. Allah loves when we turn to Him with humility, expressing our needs and desires while trusting that He will guide us in the best direction. Another powerful aspect of dua is asking for Allah's forgiveness. Sometimes when things aren't going well, it could be a result of our own actions or mistakes. It is crucial to ask for Allah's forgiveness as part of our supplications, recognizing that He is the ultimate source of mercy. Seeking forgiveness from Allah not only cleanses our hearts, but it also opens the door to His mercy. When we turn to Allah and ask for His forgiveness, we are acknowledging that we are not perfect and that we need His help to guide us back to the right path. Forgiveness from Allah can bring peace to our hearts and help us move forward in a positive direction. Lastly, we must remember that dua is not just about asking for material things. While it's natural to ask Allah for help with our difficulties, dua is also about asking for spiritual growth, guidance, and strength. We should ask Allah for patience, wisdom, and the ability to face challenges with a strong heart. When we make dua, we should remember to pray for those around us as well, for the well-being of our family, our community, and all of humanity. Dua is a way of seeking both personal and collective good. So, when everything feels like it's going wrong, remember that Allah's mercy is always within reach. Trust in His plan, make dua, and know that He will open the doors you need at the right time. Stay patient, keep your faith strong, and believe that better days are coming. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Explorers for more content that brings you closer to peace and understanding. Allah knows what's best for you, so keep turning to Him and He will never let you down.